hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. So, it is associated with what? Endocrine disorder, right? So, what do we have in the brain to regulate the endocrine gland? Name it? Very nice. Hypothalamus. Then what do we have below it? The first endocrine system? Pituitary gland. What do we have third? No, here after pituitary where it sends the signal? No, not pineal. It goes to thyroid gland. Right? So, we have hypothalamus secreting neurotransmitter to pituitary gland. Neurotransmitter. Pituitary gland stimulating hormone to the thyroid gland. Stimulating hormone. SH. So, in thyroid, what it is produces? TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Clear? Now, in thyroid gland, two hormones are produced. What are those? Yesterday I mentioned it. T3 and T4. Which is the active form? T4. It is called as thyroxine. Clear? Okay. So, what do you mean by hyper? More. What do you mean by hypo? Yes. Very good. Yes. So, hyperthyroidism means what will be the hyper in this condition?
It's too much.
What is that? Which is too much?
It's secreting too much T3 and T4.
Very good. T3 or T4 will be in a hyper mode. When it is going low, it is called as hypo. Clear? Yeah. So, now we are going to see what are T3 and T4 first, and then we will see in what are the condition T3 and T4 are stimulated more and less. Okay. So, we have T3. It is called as triiodide. Triiodide means the iodine position is 3. 3 iodine are present. In the, there is a whole change OH again for the hormone thyroid hormone. So, 3 iodine molecules are attached to it.
Of iodine.
Iodine.
Iodine from the sea salt.
Iodine from the sea salt, and food also contains iodine. For example, if you are having fish, like it contains lot of iodine. Also, certain foods also contains iodine in it, like spinach contains iodine in it. So, yeah. So, when this iodine is inactive form in the thyroid gland. In gland, we have like yesterday we studied medulla and cortex, right? In kidney, adrenal gland, you remember? In the same way, thyroid has a structure where in this T3 is present. It is in the bubbles, vacuoles. T3 is present. When T3 comes outside the thyroid gland, means out of this particular cell, it produces T4. The T3 and T4 is nothing but when the iodine changes its place where it was joined in some other position, it becomes active. It was inactive before, now it is active. Clear? When it is forming, it is in the inactive form. When it is stored in this particular cells, it is inactive. When it comes out of the cells, it becomes active.
Okay, so we're going to see what makes it come.
No, that is a whole cellular process. Okay. We don't have to think about it. Okay? Yeah. So, We are just thinking T4 is the, so when we give thyroid, if a person have a hypothyroidism, hypo, when we have to inject the T4 cells, we give direct thyroxine to the person. Clear? Direct T4 or else that stimulating hormone. So in what condition this hyperthyroidism causes? When there is a problem with extreme level of TSH production. When this stimulating hormone is produced in a more quantity, this T3 and T4 will be automatically produced more. When iodine intake is more, that time also T3, T4 is getting affected because the body is storing more iodine in the thyroid gland. So it automatically start converting T3 into T4. That condition T4 will be more when we are consuming more iodine. For example, if a person on a high diet of salt, they may have hyperthyroidism. Hyper, hyper. Whenever it is getting increased, it's hyper condition.
Yeah. So it's for them it's not good to eat a lot of salt.
No, no. So people who are having hyperthyroidism, they'll tell avoid salt. First condition. There are other things which has to be avoided because these are the hormones. This is being stimulated by two main things, food, that is cabbage. Have you heard about don't eat cabbage if you have thyroid problem?
I heard about blood also problem.
No, I don't know blood. If you have thyroid, people will say avoid, doctor will say recommend not to add cabbage to your diet. It contains certain enzymes which has the capacity to stimulate this TSH hormones again.
Okay. So cabbage and salt.
Cabbage and salt and red meat. What is red meat?
Like beef.
Yes, like beef and all.
Pork.
Yes, pork is also red meat. So whenever this people have hyperthyroidism, they'll ask to avoid red meat and cabbage, also cauliflower. Clear?
So does the sleep also have, maybe I mix up something, it just came to my mind.
That we will
Does
learn
sleep
in
something
symptoms.
to do
We
with-
will learn with symptoms.
because it's with the
Pituitary gland? No, it's not because of the pituitary gland, because thyroid gland is the main gland which regulates everything in your body, including your hypertension. So whatever disorder you learned before until up to this class, everything, if thyroid disorder is there, everything can cause. All those are complications including insomnia and obesity. Thyroid gland can cause every disorder, whatever we have learned until this date, everything can be caused because of the problem in the thyroid gland. All the disorders. All the disorders. Why? Because the entire regulatory system is below this. It is under this. In cells, this T4 we say na inactive, this is now active form. This goes with the, from the blood, circulates throughout the body. It has a major role everywhere. Inside the cell, it takes the glucose. In neurons, it helps it to build up. In kidney, it helps to produce all the enzymes, minerals, glucose, gonadic, everything, including your epinephrine, norepinephrine. In gonads, it helps it to produce estrogen and in estrogen, progesterone, and in males, it is responsible for testosterone. Your liver growth hormones is affected by because of the thyroid hormone. Even the lactating mothers whose mammary gland has to be activated, regulated by T4 enzymes.
So it's all T4 or also T3?
T3 is inactive form.
Okay.
It is not working. T4 is going everywhere and working. Also, your bones has to store calcium because of this thyroid hormone. So if thyroid is not working, the first thing you will get osteoporosis. Skin building up, thyroid hormone. Neurons, thyroid hormone. Energy into the cell, thyroid hormone. Pancreas, thyroid hormones. Glucose storage towards the cells, outside the cells, thyroid hormone. So now so all the disorder, all the symptoms you will have because of the irregulation of thyroid hormone. So what can be the symptoms? You can just tell now. And the major, everything, yes, true. So that's why the sleeping disorders, thyroid, the first starting stage when you have a hyperthyroidism, when a person has a hyperthyroidism, they will be affected with the obesity. You have seen, if you have a hyperthyroidism, the person get, immediately if somebody is going for the obesity, the doctor will ask them to check the thyroid gland stimulation.
Stimulation, so the TSH.
It can be TSH or it can be directly T4.
That's why when we do blood check,
Blood
you
test.
have both.
Yes.
Okay.
TSH and T3, T4.
Okay.
Checking. Because few people can produce T3 in the more quantity, or few people can produce T4 in the more quantity. T3 is normal, but it is immediately getting converted into T4 whenever it is not required. T3 should be stored, right? Whenever it is required, then only it should be converted. If it is converted like unnecessarily, that is also a problem. So when we go for a blood test for thyroid, we'll check with the TSH, T3 or T4.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. It's
Yeah.
not just one.
Yeah, most of the time
TSH
both, yeah, but it can be one also, because it's just the iodine structure change. Sometimes it's just iodine structure change. That is the difference between. So people cannot recognize which one is T3, T4. So they'll tell either it'll be T3 slash T4. Like the checking is on T3 or else on T4.
I mean, also you have to check the TSH now because maybe it comes from.
TSH is separate test. T3 and T4 is completely separate. These are two different hormones. TSH is stimulated by pituitary gland, whereas T3 and T4 is secreted by thyroid gland. Yeah.
But if there is a problem if you don't have enough T4, for example, maybe it's because you don't have enough
TSH. Maybe your TSH is proper, but directly it is affecting the T4 also. Your TSH is working properly, but maybe the problem is directly with the T4, with the thyroid gland production. So they'll check both where the problem is. So TSH can also cause a problem with T3, T4, or TSH can be normal also.
So when there is a problem in TSH, the problem is in the pituitary gland.
Pituitary axis, pituitary and thyroid axis.
Oh, that's just the axis.
It can be pituitary gland also, it can be axis also.
The hormone is maybe produced, but it doesn't reach the thyroid.
It can reach, or maybe the hormone itself is not produced in the pituitary gland. Clear till this? So just tell me few symptoms. Sleeping disorders, as we said. Now the people have this lot of skin disorders because this is directly going to regulate your cells.
This can be also like because my mom has like problems here, like really, I don't know how to call it in English.
Is it some dryness or some reddishness?
Yeah.
Okay.
So not only dryness, it's red and it's really like also hurting her when she was diagnosed
with thyroid.
This can be from there.
She was lot of heart problem, right? Because the entire circulatory system is going to get affected. Okay, hypertension they may have heart problem a lot. So lot of even they can have weight loss, they can have weight gain because the entire metabolism is disturbed. If they are having diabetes, they will have weight loss. Yeah.
Is it like hypothyroidism is just working the reverse?
Hypo is reverse. Maybe the TSH is produced less, so T4 is getting reduced.
But it's less.
If it is less, that is hypo.
Okay, yeah. So hypo
Causes. What are the causes? I said already a Graves disorder can be one of the cause of hyperthyroidism. So now you understood hyperthyroidism is not a disease, it's a symptom, right? You understood? Okay. So then you have, yeah, intaking of too much of iodine can cause hyperthyroidism, as I already mentioned. How do we diagnose it? We take the blood sample and we diagnose it.
Only the iodine can be a cause?
Intake of extreme level, mostly in food pattern, iodine. Because iodine is more responsible for forming this hormone here, no? So iodine is the most responsible in taking food. And other food or enzymes which I mentioned like cabbage and all, it contains certain enzymes which can indirectly or directly can affect the TSH. So that is not a mineral, iodine is a mineral, iodine is an element, but other is like it can affect the hormones. Clear? So diagnosis, what are the diagnosis? We take the blood test. What do we diagnose in it?
How much
TSH and T4, simple. So what are the treatments for it? Sometimes it becomes so severe. So we have two glands here, right? Thyroid glands look like something like this. Here.
What is it?
Thyroid gland.
Yeah.
We have a parathyroid inside. Like it's like a four lobes. Inside that we have parathyroid gland. So this is different than thyroid gland. Okay, this has a different function. It stimulates altogether a different hormones. We are not getting into it. Okay, which is for the calcium regulation. We are just talking about hyperthyroidism. So we are only talking about thyroid. So what are the which are the just mention which are the organs which are going to affected because of the thyroid gland? All the organs, mostly heart, brain, pancreas, liver and kidney. Clear? And gonads. Clear? Because why we have to consider all these things? According to this, we are going to give the yoga therapy.
They are the most affected or the first affected? Or
It's not first. Basically, first anything can be affected. These are the most affected parts because all enzymes are related to these parts, no? Again, if the thyroid gland has gone, every enzymes which has to be stimulated from this particular parts are going to get affected.
Which one is the last one?
Gonads, ovary and testis.
ovaries?
Clear? So what are the therapies we give or what are the treatments we give? In few condition, the entire replace, if it is goes extremely critical, the entire thyroid has to be done surgery, removed and replaced.
Removed and
Yeah, or
replaced?
sometimes
Replaced?
completely replace, we can replace, but then
No.
up to I don't know how much it is successful because once your autoimmune disorder done. So there are particular parts which can be replaced, maybe not the entire, but yeah, entire also sometimes it's been done.
Crazy. So from another body you take it? Like,
Maybe from another body or they develop into the cell completely altogether in lab and then replace. There is no whole replacement, but yeah, you can replace up to an extent. Or they can just remove if it is excessive thyroid production, they can just remove those cells which is producing more amount of T3 or T4. Yeah. So that's been done like surgery. Replacement, I don't know up to what extent or is it possible also, I don't know. But they are trying maybe It's maybe under the research.
But at least removing some cells.
Yeah. And especially radioactive therapy, they can do radioactive therapy where they burn the cells. They burn the cells so that the excessive amount production will be reduced again. Clear? Then pharmacological treatment, beta blockers. Wherever you see, everywhere these beta blockers are used. Beta blockers. You see in antidepressants, in asthma, everywhere they use beta blockers. These are the receptors. They just block it so that cell-cell signaling will not be there. Cell-to-cell interaction will not be there. The signaling, the process will be stopped. Everywhere they use these beta blockers so that the production, for example, it is produced because of the TSH will not further produce the T4. So they just block it.
But it's just it's not it's just for the moment, right? It's not stopping.
Nothing is for all the medicines we are taking, it's just for the moment. All the medicines, pharmaceuticals, everything is for the moment. Beta blockers. Beta blockers. To, in this case, blocking the TSH. Yeah. Or it can block further T4 also, because that is also enzyme. It cannot go to some other cells, it can be blocked. Clear? Okay. It's done. Now, Ayurveda. What is the pranas getting affected? What is the prana? First?
Udana?
Yes, Udana. Also, all the other pranas. Basically Udana, but then all the other pranas. Because the temperature, the skin and nervous system, everything is going to get affected. So, all the other pranas as well. Clear? Okay. Basically Udana prana. Is it a, now it is a Vata disorder.
Surprise.
Which leads to the Pitta disorder. Vata, which simultaneously leads to the Pitta disorder.
Because it's circulation or?
Because of so many reasons, because it's digestive also, it is circulatory also, and it is because of the other liver it is affecting. Again, it is affecting your stomach and pancreas. So, Pitta disorders. Yeah. So, we have 3 types of Agni in Ayurveda. What are these 3 types? Dehagni. Dehagni. Dehagni is the entire body has a temperature regulation. The Agni is related to that. Second is Jatharagni. Jatharagni is related to this you mentioned. It is only in the abdomen. Then third is Dhatu Agni. Dhatu Agni is basically for converting tissue to tissue, cells to cells, or tissue to tissue basically. Dhatu is tissues. Okay, clear? Okay. So, Dhatu. Dhatu Agnis, we have 7 dhatus. Ayurveda mentioned 7 types of dhatus. Rasa, Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Mamsa, Medha, Asti. Medha, Asti, Majja, Shukra, Shukra. Clear? Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Medha, Asti, Majja, Shukra. So, when converting, our body makes starts from rasa, ends with shukra dhatu.
It's a process.
Yeah. So, rasa is when we intake food. When we intake food, the first thing, the juices, the enzymes, the hormones, every liquid in the body is except the lymph and blood is rasa. First thing, when we eat food, it becomes rasa. Then where it goes? It goes to rakta, blood. After rasa dhatu, we make rakta dhatu. It goes to blood, or lymph also comes under this. Then it goes to mamsa. Mamsa is skin. Mamsa is skin. Then it becomes medha. Medha is fat cells. Fat cells. Fat cells, adipose tissue, triglycerides. Yes. Lipids or fat cells. Then it becomes asthi. Asthi is bones. Bones. Then it becomes majja. Majja is bone marrow. Bone marrow. Then it becomes shukra. Shukra dhatu is semen in the men and ovum in the females. Shukra dhatu. The shukra is the final. Shukra. 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 It's semen or ovum. Gonadic hormones. Clear? This is how the tissue. So in Ayurveda, the 7 tissues are mentioned, or 7 cells are mentioned. Cells are made up of tissues. So this each procedure has a waste material. Whenever we have a reaction, it has a waste material, also an enzyme to convert it. The enzyme which is converting it, it is called as dhatu agni. Dhatu Agni. So, we have 3 Agnis. What are these? First is Dhatu Agni, which helps them to transfer its form. Second is Jathar Agni, which helps for the digestion. Third is Deha Agni, which maintains the temperature. Clear? Okay. We have the out product, the last product, which is a waste product, is called as Mala. It's called as mala. All your, in Ayurveda, all your nails, all your sweat, urine, fecus, even your hairs are mala. Clear?
Because it's that.
It seems like it is the end product of something formed. Clear? So, in thyroid, all the 7 dhatus are affected. Clear? All the 7 dhatus are affected. That means all the 3 Agni, all the malas, all the dhatus are affected.
All the body, you said.
So Ayurveda, there is a 4th concept called as Koshta. We have 2 types of fecus in our small intestine. What are those? One is absorbed as a nutrients. Another one is waste product which body throws out. Clear? So basically what we have with small intestine, it's a waste product through which nutrients are absorbed. Also the nutrition less waste product is removed out of the body. So Ayurvedic concept is done. Dhatu, Mala you understood, Koshta you understood, and Agni you understood. 7 dhatus you understood, right? Everything is affected in thyroid. Everything is affected in thyroid. That's why I am taking it at the last. So, Because now you understood all the 7 dhatus, because we took separate classes for all this. Rasya we've done, digestive juices, secretion, everything. Rakta we done, blood circulation. Mamsa we did, adipose tissue we didn't do. But okay, I'll just give you a little bit of adipose tissue. What our fat, I just told you we have good fat, our body require good fat. Okay, we have bad fat. So what is good fat is when it is coming, the good fat is when the fat is coming from the blood circulation to the liver and stored as an energy source, then it is a good fat. It is not going to destroy me. It is going to be used as an energy source for my body. When it is a bad source, because when I am eating it, it is going to my blood and getting deposited and doing a problem with my blood circulation, which causes atherosclerosis, cholesterol. Everything is causing a problem to my blood circulation. So that is a bad fat. Clear? That is medha. Medha, adipose tissue. So when we have, you know why this cholesterol is formed, why this cholesterol, is cholesterol bad for health? Cholesterol is not bad for health. Cholesterol is required by the body. But when cholesterol get deposited in the cells, in the blood vessels, then it becomes bad. And major cause of this is not fat. Major cause of this is white sugar, refined carb. The triglycerides we store in my fat, the major cause is refined sugar. All the sugars, white sugars we are having, all is getting deposited as triglycerides. So when somebody has a cholesterol problem, you don't ask him to reduce the fat intake. You ask him to reduce the refined carb intake, reduce white rice, reduce sugar. The market companies has made it as a fat, liver test, cholesterol high, eat more refined oil and have more sugar. This is the most bad thing. So you stop entire sugary thing for the first case. Thin people, too much of cholesterol. There are a lot of people who have too much of cholesterol when they are very thin. Why? They have lot of refined carb in their diet. That's why eat millets, which is not refined. This contains fibers. Ahara, the first yoga therapy, ahara. So it is indirectly going to affect your thyroid gland. That's why satvika ahara, mitahara. No cholesterol deposit, no triglycerides, no fat, no sugar contents, nothing. Eat more fibrous food, vegetables, millets and good fat. No cabbages according to the modern science and no red meats. Ahara.
No cabbages?
And no red
No
meat.
cabbages in which case?
Thyroid gas,
Thyroid,
hyperthyroid. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, you understood the concept. We have spoken about the mamsa, skin. We have not spoken about the skin. Skin is little bit complicated. We have lot of layers in skin. 4 layers basically. Dermis, epidermis. Have you heard about this? This skin has a property of regulation. Mostly why the skin is used. Why skin is used? The skin is used for the temperature regulation. The most important thing of the body for the skin's work is to temperature. How does it do it? Through regulating the sweat. Through just intacting itself so that the temperature will not be released in the atmosphere, or by releasing the cells so the temperature will be into the atmosphere. So whenever it requires, for example, the cold is outside, it will not release the temperature from outside your body. It will intact. Why do you have this shivering when you have cold? To have more production of energy and more production of the output result will be temperature.
But it's only with the human, right? Animals don't
Animals
sweat.
also sweat.
But through the
Animals
not
through the skin also. You have heard about this hippopotamus. Its sweat itself is pink in color. It reacts with the water. It gives pink color in the water.
Who?
Yeah.
Which one?
Hippopotamus. What do you call that, hippopotamus?
Hippopotamus.
Are they hippos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So animals also have sweating.
Sweat
but they have more hairs on their surface, so they regulate in that way also. Also depends on which condition they are in, because some needs heat, some do not need heat. So that also depends on the skin of the animal. Everybody's temperature is not same. Human beings' temperature is third. There are cold animals which have the cold in them, right? There are hot animals which have the heat in it. They are more warm blooded, cold blooded. Heard about it? Yeah. So that is different regulation in them. But everything is regulated by the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus regulate the temperature regulation in human beings. So hypothalamus is defected, the first thing which is going to be problematic is your temperature regulation. So you have fever, where do you keep your mom keep this cotton cloth dipped in water on your forehead? Why?
To cool down, no?
To cool the hypothalamus, because the temperature goes high, body dies. So it cools down the hypothalamus, so that temperature will not be produced more.
Just to, oh, sorry, good.
So is it dangerous not to have fever? Because I never have fever. Never.
It's not dangerous, but it's a good symptom.
Yeah.
If you are, that means it can be in both the ways. If your immune system is strong enough, then also you won't have the fever. If you are bad, sometimes you have fevers often. It's good to have cold sometimes to identify whether your immune system is working or not. But if you are not
Just have
having,
muscle pain, but never fever. Only muscle pain.
it's because you don't have kapha. Your body is not having kapha. You have more kapha, your body will give rise to more cold. You will have more cold.
Yeah.
Cold is again a symptom.
Yeah.
If your immune system is strong enough, your body will react to the immune. It can be in both the sides. Hyper immune reactive, few people, for example, in blood you have high eosinophils, you will be having cold often. So you have to reduce the kapha in them. So if you are not having fever often, it can be in both the sides. It can be good immunology system, it can be bad also. But in your case, you are not having any other disorder, so it's a good immune system. Your oxygen level might be very good because you are living in mountains already, so your blood circulation is already good.
Okay. Interesting.
Did you say already yesterday? Did you go through the functions of the hypothalamus?
And it gives to the pituitary back. Pituitary gland immediately regulates it. Okay, estrogen has to be produced there. Pituitary gland is the one who decides estrogen has to be produced there, give the signal from the neurons. Getting? So when your ovary is compressed, how it is affecting the nervous system? Through pituitary axis. When you are in Dhanurasana, your neurotransmitters is getting affected. Why neurotransmitter has to get affected? Because according to that, it has to regulate whether it should be parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system. Then only the entire body will work, and that is decided by hypothalamus. When you are attaining asana sthiti, the pituitary gland is getting indirectly affected, and it regulates the hypothalamus, which indirect tells you, okay, now my sympathetic has to be converted into parasympathetic at this point, and in that it gives the signal to the kidney. Kidney decides whether it should be converted into parasympathetic or sympathetic. The hormones from the adrenal gland, medulla, epinephrine and norepinephrine.
That's what we are going to see this afternoon, right?
Kidney, yeah. Kidney, epinephrine and norepinephrine we are not. We are going to see the kidney's function. That is the endocrine system function. Kidney's function is different. Endocrine system in the kidney is different. Clear? Okay. Is it clear until this? Ahara is done. So, ahara should be, you got that. What are the ahara should be taken? Yeah.
But there is also salt without
Iodine,
What do
non-iodized
yeah,
salt, yes.
but that would be possible.
Yes.
It's just that I.
Yes. So, but if the person has hypertension because of this, salt again a problem, because NaCl cannot, they cannot take NaCl in the same way in the hypertension.
So it's every salt.
No,
Not only.
a salt has 12 types.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay,
No, you need the
Ayurveda.
iodine. You need to be salt. It need to be
Salt,
a sea salt.
no,
Yeah,
no,
without
no,
iodine.
no, 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 no. Salt, iodine is added to the salt.
No,
It is what iodine is added or iodine is removed. When it is sea salt, there are possibility it contains iodine. Even the rock salt contains iodine, but it is purposefully removed or added according to make it more iodized and more removable.
Yeah.
That is also done.
But naturally, sea salt contains the iodine.
Every salt contains, I told no,
More.
12 types of 12 types. Every salt contains iodine. It's not just sea salt. Sea salt contains more amount of NaCl. Other salt, the remaining 11 types of salt, they do not contain just NaCl. They contains other metals also, elements also. In Ayurveda, NaCl, that is sea salt, is the worst salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Himalayan pink salt, have you heard about? The Himalayas rocks. There are mines. There are a lot of mines in different places from where they extract salts. That is rock. The sea is water salt. The rock is rock. It contains a low amount of NaCl. In sometimes 60% of NaCl, sometimes 90% of salt. Depends on from which mine it is collected. From which mine it is coming, they name it on the basis of it. Black salt, pink salt, rock salt, sea salt. Clear?
So why don't drink?
Don't drink and drive.
First of all.
Ahimsa,
Yeah.
Swadhyaya, okay, and Brahmacharya and Ishvara Pannidhana. Then Satya, Asteya, everything is good for the thyroid. Like everything you practice, yeah.
Why brahmacharya is good for the thyroid?
There is a lot of reasons. Brahmacharya, I told you, first thing, Virya, Ojas, okay. I told you the subtle level and the gross level gets interacted through this point. Okay, especially for the males, they are always releasing. The females, they have to attain menstrual cycle to release it. Okay, but males can always release it. Females are in the receiver end. They have to attain menstrual cycle to release it. So, in males, if they are preserving it, especially in the males, females don't have to do that. But males, when they are preserving it, it turns into virya. When only if your virya is preserved, then only the Sushumna Nadi gets opened up, because it needs that strength of awakening. There is a Kundalini, okay, which is called as, which is in the Mooladhara. In Mooladhara, you have to awaken. When you are growing spiritually, what happens exactly?
So it's
You have,
only for for spiritual people you have to.
yes, that is
practice
first thing.
this brahmacharya.
Second
For
thing,
normal
mental
people.
state. No, normal people also.
Brahmacharya? No, how do you say?
Mental state, I'll tell you. The protein are most into the semen and in the vagina of the females for the protection, the fluid, the mucus, everything. So, in that case, what happens when you are having excessive sexual interaction, the proteins will get out of the body frequently. Okay, so this men have hair falls if they are masturbating a lot.
Yeah, so it's all about excessive, no? When you talk about brahmacharya, that's what it's like normal, having normal sexual.
What you want to know?
Like,
Exactly.
yeah, you don't know before what is going to be the size. So how does it?
Very good. No, that is pranayama. Yeah. Kriya. First. Yeah, sorry. Dhauti, very good. Dhauti is very good. Sutra Dhauti, Vastra Dhauti and also Vamana Dhauti also. Very good, because it activates the reflex action to the thyroid gland. Okay, reflex will be there. Vamana Dhauti, because we are vomiting, there are a lot of reflex action going in hypothalamus. Whenever you have reflex action in your body, like vomiting or something, hypothalamus gets activated. Okay. Then Kriya. Then next Kriya. Go ahead. Kapal Bhati. Right? Then. Come on. Kapal Bhati. Okay. Basti, because reduction of Vata and Pitta, balancing. Basti. Okay. Then reducing stress, Trataka can be given, because thyroid is mostly affected by the stress induced. If you have stress, you will have thyroid problem. Anybody having stress, the first endocrine system get damaged is thyroid gland. Okay, so no stress, very important. After Kriya, no stress. 3, asana. What are the asanas for thyroid glands? Very good. Whichever is affecting the gland. So, Sarvangasana, Bhujangasana, Halasana, Dhanurasana, Ushtrasana, Purvottanasana, then Matsyasana, then Utthita Padottanasana, then even the simple Parivritta Tadasana, Ardhachandrasana, then anything which is lifting your head up and head down. Good for Marjarasana. So, other than that, every asanas can be performed if other signals are also damaged. For example, kidney is the other thing and heart is the other thing. So, all the asanas which are related to the kidney or heart.
Asanas related to kidney or heart. Okay.
So every heart opener as well.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay. For kidney,
It's the lower back, right?
yeah. So all the asanas that where we are back bending is good. For
Wherever we are head, kidneys, very good. Wherever we are bending for the back, like Shalabhasana. Shalabhasana is the best one for kidney, okay? Dhanurasana and Shalabhasana is best for kidney.
Okay.
And Ushtrasana, Chakrasana, everything is good for the kidney and thyroid gland. Sarvangasana, very good for the thyroid gland. Very, the best.
Which one?
Sarvangasana, which you asked us to practice today. And Halasana. Clear? We practiced in the morning for all the endocrine systems.
I know. That was my plan.
Yeah, because that's why we reduce the stress, endocrine glands related to the nerve, and then we will not have insomnia. Because the most important thing which we have is sleep disturbance in thyroid. Thyroid gets okay, sleep very good. That was our plan.
That's really good because you did a class according to what we were
I know.
going to do today.
It's not a coincidence.
What are the best pranayama? I don't have to write anymore. So you are more intelligent now. Pranayama. Which are the pranayamas? Ujjayi is the best for thyroid gland. True. Also write Simhasana in asanas. Okay, Simhasana is very important for thyroid gland because all the facial muscles get out. Yeah. So what are the pranayama? Ujjayi is the best. Then second thing is Pitta is high, so we do Chandra Vedana here, right? Vata is high, so we do Surya Bhedana here. Then obviously Sheetali, Seetkari because Pitta is high. Then to reduce the stress, we do Brahmari. Bhastrika is very good for the thyroid.
So we do Chandra Vedana.
Yeah, Chandra Vedana and Surya Vedana both. Chandra Vedana to reduce the Pitta, Surya Vedana for reduce the Vata.
Can we do Anulam Vilom?
Anuloma Viloma is not a pranayama. It starts with the Nadi Shuddhi. pranayama. Anloma Villoma is just a practice of Nadi Shuddhi, you can say, but it is do not have, Nadi Shuddhi has bandhas in it. Jalandhara bandha and Anloma Villoma do not have.
But if we do, isn't it the same if we do one first, second after? It's not the same than doing.
No,
Same effect.
Yeah.
it's Ida Pingla. It has a
Yes,
different
I know
connection.
what you mean.
When you are
When you
left,
first do that and later that, you can also like do the Nadi Shodha, no?
you can
Yeah, that's a question. Yeah, but she's saying no.
Brahmari for the stress reduction. Done. Then we have mudras and bandhas. See, this is the thing I was talking. Pranayama and then mudra bandha. What are the mudra bandha? The best is Viparita Karni mudra
Lendra.
and Shanmukhi. Viparita and Shanmukhi. It's the best. Mahamudra also. You can give all the mudras. Bandhas, three bandhas. Somebody having thyroid, if they are able to focus on Vishuddhi chakra, the mantra for it, Yam Ram Lam Vam. विशुद्धि चक्र का मंत्र क्या है? हम. You can practice hum and color blue. You can concentrate on the blue color. Vishuddhi chakra. Thyroid gland meditation. Chakra meditation. Yeah.
Does exist a book with these things are related all together?
These are from different books.
You should write it.
Yeah. Asanas and pranayama according to the asana position. The main 10 and 25. Most of the mudras like Jalandhara mudra or Udyana mudra. You have read 10 types out of 10 mudras. What are these? Are also there is mudra for each bandhas. That's why I said you to read. There are 3 mudras that is attained in the meditation pose.